So I want to build myself a drill press stand that is not only narrow, but where I can store my plastic organiser trays in and have a deep drawer at the bottom. I want to be able to turn this stand into a position so I can use it, and then when I don't need it, push it back into the corner out the way, but still be able to access the drawer and the organiser trays. So I ripped down this piece of 50mm plywood with the track saw, and then I moved over to the table saw to cut everything down to the correct size. Now unfortunately the weather has changed outside, we've ended up getting flipping snow, so I'm going to have to complete the project in here, and I might struggle to get some decent filming angles because the project is so big. I've got such a small space to work in. I marked up on one of the side panels the spacing and positioning of the shelves so I knew where to place them. And then using my biscuit jointer, I decided I would have a go at joining these with biscuit joints, so I cut the biscuits into the side and rear panel. I laid out my sash clamps and I applied a liberal amount of glue and then clamped it all up and left it to dry overnight. I also placed two of the shelves into the position of the unit so it didn't lose its shape whilst it was clamped up. So whilst it was drying, I was able to cut the pocket holes in the remaining shelves, ready to get on with the next day. Once I could fit the shelves in, I could line them up with the marks I made on the one side panel, then check them for level on the other side, and then work my way up, checking for square as I went. This unit is upside down so the pocket holes won't be visible. So then we moved on to fitting the top, and I just simply pre-drilled and countersunk some holes. And applied these turbo screws into the top of the unit. But I wanted to beef up the strength of the top of the unit. So I added some glue to the top I already put on, and then using another piece of 15mm MDF, I lined it up flush, clamped it into position, and then just fired in some screws to help secure it into place. I fitted the bottom exactly the same way but with only one piece. So I marked up where I wanted the casters to go. And then pre-drilled the holes and fired in these screws. These are button head screws, so should pull the casters down nice and tight. However, it was at this point that I realised that the casters I had ordered online and reserved and what I'd been given were completely different casters. I wanted swivel ones. So I did have these ones already and I wasn't going to use them because I wasn't sure if they'd be man enough for the task. However, they turned out alright in the end. So that is the main carcass built and finished. So you can pull it out, swivel it around and push it back into position. Now, on with the drawer. The drawer is quite a simple construction. It's just pocket holes across the back. The two side panels are screwed into position with the pocket hole screws. The base is just screwed on with 3 screws along each side. And then the front panel, I just lined it up with the pre-drilled and countersunk holes and then fired in some more screws from the front. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do about a handle, but I did have this piece of wood left over that already had a rebate cut into it, and I thought for now that will do. So I just simply clamped it into position until it was flush with the sides and the top, and again fired in some screws from behind. I did fit this bottom shelf so that it sat 15mm back so that the drawer would fit in flush. And that is the stand completed. All that's left to do now is to fix a pillar drill to the top with some bolts. So to complete this outro, I've actually had to wheel the stand outside just to get it in shot because I couldn't manage this in the garage. So I'm really quite happy with this. I wanted something that was narrow from the front, but also contained useful storage for me and somewhere where I could keep these Stanley Fat Max deep trays. They fit in well, put them out and slide back in really easy. And I've got this nice deep drawer which I can put things like my track saw in or things like that to keep it out of the way. So I would call that a successful build. If you liked the video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel if you found this useful. Give me a comment below and share it amongst your friends, and I'll see you again next week.